Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. I'm taking a quick look here at Bonk. Fantastic situation here for us. Actually, we bounced off that perfect level, maintaining above the cloud, and we're looking very, very good here. What I mean by perfect level is this is that previous high that I mentioned before that's extremely important there at about 200,000. So price actually did exactly what we were looking for, which is fantastic. So congrats to some of our community members who got in right there at that 200,000 mark. And again, to anyone else who's watching, thanks for joining. Hope you learned something here today, of course. I love teach people trade, and I do want you to comment below if you have learned something, and obviously just like the video if you could, please. Quick congrats to our community members here. We got some nice profits here from Avalanche, 40% with that liquidation sweep of roughly a day and a half trade. That's, again, one of our swing trades, effectively. High CP as well. We hit all targets, 96%. 1.5 trading days. Keep in mind, these are safe leverage, 5x leverage trades, nothing too crazy, but it was a really awesome, profitable end of the week for us. OGN as well, 73%. Okay, now we're considering adding Bonk to the equation. I haven't traded this one yet personally, just based on the simple fact that I've been pretty busy with some other things, and I like to make sure that I understand a coin thoroughly before I take trades with them. And this coin is starting to exude some pretty, I wouldn't say telling signs, or it's not like you can forecast and read the future here per se, but it's doing a lot of things that normal coins are supposed to do with retracement and continuation patterns. So we'll talk about that here. Just to quickly note, daily time frame is pretty bullish here. We do have this massive candle wick from this upper rise of 355K. So that was the highest point in which we saw the price action. That does show here on the charts that the money flow index is coming down a little bit. These are delayed averages here on the daily, so nothing super telling here for us. The key takeaway is that we are above all moving averages, and we will be for some time, and we'll see roughly how that treats us in a few days. For now, though, everything is pretty much pointing up on the daily time frame. There's not a lot of monstrous signs telling us the price is going to shift direction or anything of that sort. This pullback actually makes perfect sense. Okay, again, right there about bounce off 200,000. Easy to go. And then what we can see here as well, we got a MACD divergence in the 4 hour. That typically spells, I wouldn't say disaster, but just tells us that we want to be paying attention and put our heads on a swivel, right? In other words, when we diverge on a 4 hour time frame, it implies the price could continue in that direction it's heading. So right now, we could see the price retest a lower level here. We will see here shortly on the smaller time frames, like the hourly, for example, if there's any good entries here or what should work out. But generally speaking, we just want to be mindful of the back end here, that we lost that, or we're losing that continuation pattern. And what I mean by that here is that, first of all, we do have some positive contributing factors here where we got this ascending trend running concurrent with the 20 SMA. Okay, so we're just going to draw this out on the charts here for us so we can pay better attention to this later. And keep in mind, when I draw these lines out, I'm really just trying to get some perspective later on short-term, mid-term, or long-term trend lines. This is somewhat of a mid-term trend line because, again, it's a 4 hour. So we want to pay attention there. If we stay above that level, we're still in good shape. We drop below that level, we want to kind of reevaluate and see where it's going to go next. But again, I'm concerned with the fact that the MACD is diverging right now. It tells us we have significant momentum on the downside, but a lot of it is derived from how high and how fast this coin pushed. Okay, so again, in roughly 24 hours, the coin went up about 260% in 2 trading days. That's quite a lot. Again, a lot of different numbers, of course, there you could throw out, but statistically, it was due for a correction, and it's happened so far. Pulled right back to that previous high, which is perfect. So taking a look here at stochastic RSI, we are starting to see a swing. Hasn't fully swung yet. We do have some supporting factors here, being above 50 in the RSI. That's fantastic. We like to see that. Money flow index is starting to average itself out too. We can see that the volume is dissipating, but this moving average is a little bit exaggerated because we had such high volume. So the truth is, this coin is having a decent amount of volume here, maintaining itself there. So we have, slightly more contributing factors on the 4 hour time frame to let us know the price action should continue higher. Again, the ascending trend line is positive too, but in the overall sense, we just got to be mindful that this could continue to retrace. All right, so we'll just go ahead and pull out our fibs here, get better perspective of what's going on. We're hanging out really close to this 0.5 fib level at about 225,000. I talked about that yesterday being a standard consolidation location, and again, with the wick down to 0.618 and a bounce, there's a pretty solid chance we could stay here. Now you got to keep in mind too, this is one last little caveat here, again, conflicting. All the more reason for me not to take a trade personally, right? I try not to trade into coins that are exuding this behavior because every time frame is looking good, but as you start to work your way down, it starts looking worse. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing per se, but we've retested this level 4 candlesticks in a row. So for 16 hours, we're trying to break below that level and haven't yet. You might think to yourself, oh, that means it's a support level, which is true. But support levels can only hold for so long until they break, and the more likely they are to break after, of course, the more times you retest them. All right. So again, try to think of an analogy of like trying to punch a door down. You keep punching it, eventually it'll break, right? It'll probably be harder if you're punching it. Maybe try kicking instead, but you get the idea. All right, what we're looking for here to be able to reverse this trend. Two things. First things first is to break this lower high pattern or lower low. Okay, actually, let me rephrase that. This is the lower high pattern, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, and then another lower low and a lower low. Okay, so if we draw kind of a trend line out here for this, we can see the price action is working itself into that range, right? Okay, so again, we haven't broken this pattern yet, but we're getting close. And what I mean by breaking this pattern again isn't just the lower highs, it's also concurrently establishing higher lows. Okay, so with this right here, we see two parallel lows and a lower high and a lower low. Okay, that's working itself into a descending type of pattern here, and it is due for a breakout to either the downside or the upside. Typically when it derives from the top, it'll continue lower, so this is likely the direction it's going to continue. However, if we can break that, what we want to look for is a higher high. So if this guy comes up here and does one of these, then we're in good shape. Okay. If it continues to do one of these, then we're not looking so good. Okay. Because again, we want to establish higher highs concurrent with higher lows. Okay. So again, that's what we're looking for this trend reversal. I do talk about this a lot in my trading university, so if you're part of my premium group, don't overlook that. On the website, we do have that members section where you can check out my trading university and a lot of good stuff in there. So do not overlook that. But I talk about trend reversals and how that essentially works out well if you can identify kind of that shift in momentum. Most of it comes from higher lows and lower highs and that whole thing I just explained. Okay. Last but not least, we'll just take a quick look here at the cloud, and this is a confirmation telling us that you do not want to take a long position at this point. Let me rephrase that. You do not want to take a long or a short position at this point, because most people interpret when I say do not take a long as taking a short. Do not be that person, okay? You're going to get wrecked either way if you do that, and the reason why is because you're just kind of flipping a coin, okay? Because we don't have confirmation here. Conversion line's below the baseline. Lagging span, while it's free and clear of the price action, it's soon to intersect, and we're in a situation right now, if you have a short open, you'd probably want to have taken profits by now, because of course, this window of opportunity is closing. When we travel within the cloud, you should not take a trade. Okay? So we either got to wait for it to break down below, which that would confirm bearish, or we close above, that would confirm bullish. Okay. Again, it's not an exact science, but if you use that, combining that with the 4-hour and the daily time frames, you can kind of do a lot of really cool things, which is essentially what we do day in and day out in our community. So again, be sure to check that out. CryptoCash.tech is a site if you want to be part of our trading signals. You can also join up over here, of course, as well. Jump on into our general chat. We got some awesome, phenomenal traders over there, and just a really good time. Everyone's having a great time here, and I greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for making my life a better place to be able to interact with such great traders. It's super cool to be able to have that. Last but not least, if you want an awesome exchange, CryptoCash.tech, you can find that on our website, of course, but more importantly, Bitunix, the links are all over the place down in the comments, of course, where you can benefit from some significant rewards by using the link to register here. And if you do, of course, you get healthy trading competitions and trading stop losses, moving targets, multiple targets, of course, for your entries and exits. There's some really, really cool features this exchange has, no other ones do. So be sure to check them out. It's mainly no KYC, no VPN for our community. That's why we have that, because I got to always be on the lookout for reliable exchanges for my community, because unfortunately, what VPN was required here recently for BingX roughly a couple weeks ago. And ever since then, we've noticed that there's a lot of concern about KYC. KYC is always coming after VPN requirements. So just one of those inevitability. Be mindful of that. All right, anyways, check that out in your own time. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, like the video before you go. Comment below. Love to hear your feedback, and we will see you in the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.